you anywhere. Let's go. I can get you anywhere. I can get you anywhere. Let's go.
What about now? Everything good now? What about now? Everything good now? There we go. Okay, so Albion has went free to play in the last week, and there's been a huge influx of new players that's come to the game. So we're gonna do another tutorial on farm plots and how to set up your farms, how to set up your islands, how to set up your laborers, what the books are for, because there's a lot of guys and gals out there that they just have no idea how to get going, how to make money, how to be self-sustaining. So we're going to do that for you today. So we're in Carleon right now, the big city, and we're at the little island merchant, which is this guy right here. And if you want to set up your island, so you're going to click on him and hover on the side. You're going to get an option to build an island, and there's 5 levels to this, and each one increases, and it's all based off the silver market and the gold market. So if gold's doing really good, silver's doing really good, it's going to cost you more, and if the price of gold goes down, it's going to cost you a little less. Okay, so we're just going to jump right into my island, and this is what it's going to look like. Now this is a T5. Now naturally a T1 is going to be a lot smaller. So let's just go to our overview of the island, which we're going to hit in, and it kind of gives us an overlook of what the island looks like. Now a Tier 1 is just going to have the house in the middle and a farm, and I believe maybe 1 or 2 houses off to the side. It's been a while since I've set one up from the very beginning. And as you progress, as you level your island up, of course you get more farms, more places to put houses, or you can build refiners or whatever you want. Like you can basically do whatever you want to your island. And to do that, we're going to hit H, and it's going to give us all the different options. So we've got the economy where we can build lumber mills, smelters, tanners, all the stuff that we're going to build and craft and refine. We can also build different types of farms where we can cook, put in a butcher, you know, make horses, and those are all in the farming. Military, you know, we've got mage towers, lodge hunters. That's where we're going to make all of our tools, our weapons, things of that nature. Let's talk about farms first. So this is our farm, and we've got 9 plots on each farm that we can farm from. And this little guy back here sells seeds. Now we can either get them from him, which is usually pretty expensive, or we can go to Carleon, Martlock, Fort Sterling, wherever, go to the merchant there, we can get them there. All of our seeds are on the first page, 1 through 8, or 2 through 8 actually, and then we've got our fungus, flowers, things that we're going to make our potions and other things from at the bottom. We've got our different animals that we can farm. The first is all the ones that we can cut up for meat that we're going to feed, like our lizards and our mounts and different things. And the ones at the bottom are the ones that we can ride, like our oxes, our horses, all the way up to tier 8, of course. And the bottom one is just random furniture. These are just there to beautify, make your island look beautiful. It's kind of like a silver sink, I like to say it. You don't have to have them. But if you want to make your island look pretty cool, unique, that's what those are for. So like I said, each one of these you can click on and you can grow carrots or cabbage or whatever you want. You can use your focus and you can water it. And then once it's done in 22 hours, and you can see the little timer ticking down here, you can pick them up. If you don't water them, more than likely you're not going to get seeds for it. If you do water your carrots, you're going to get 2 seeds per plot, so I could have a potential of getting 18 seeds off this plot of land. Okay. Now once I've gathered my carrots and I've harvested my carrots, I can set up animals, and I can feed those carrots or feed those mushrooms to different animals that I have. Now I've got some pigs over here, and you can see the little timer growing down. And if I had food, I could throw it in this little bin and kind of feed my pig and nurture him, you know, give him a little love, a little tenderness, you know, give him a little peck on the cheek. Goats, ducks, sheep, you can either harvest them for the meat, or you can leave your goat out and you can get milk. Or I can leave my ducks out, my geese, and I can get eggs. Same thing with my sheep. You know, I can either harvest them for the meat, or I can get milk off them. Now let's jump to one more island. I want to show you what the cages look like. So if I wanted to grow, say, dire wolves, or mammoths, or lizards, you're going to set up the cage, and you can grow up to 4 animals at the same time. And it's going to have 4 little pins like this, and I can have an animal here, and so on, all the way around. Most of these guys, except for the mammoths, you're going to require meat. So that's why I say set up your carrots to feed your animals, feed your sheep, feed your goats, and then you go butcher your goats, go butcher your sheep, and then you can feed those to your dire wolves, your lizards, things like that. Okay? Let's jump back to our other island here. And of course, if there's any questions along the way, just jot them down. and we'll try to answer them as best we can. Now let's talk about laborers. Or let's talk about houses first. So I can set up on my island 2, 4, 6, 10, 11 houses. Okay, and they can range anywhere from tier 1 to a tier 8. Now the higher the house, the higher the labor that I can set up inside. And the higher the labor, the better materials that I can get, and the happier that my laborer is. So a tier 8 house is going to produce happier laborers than a tier 1 house. So we want to try to get these houses up as quick as possible. To do those, there's a little notepad on the side of the house. We're going to click on it. We're going to go to upgrade, and you can click begin at the bottom, and it tells you exactly what resources that I have to upgrade that house to the next level. Now if I don't like it, I can always demolish it, and I'll get 50% of my resources back. I can downgrade it if I want to downgrade, say I don't want that house, or I don't need that house as high as what it is. I can downgrade it and get part of my materials back. I can also set up laborers, and laborers are all these guys down here, and there's a bunch of them. I'm going to have one for every biome, so a lumberjack for wood, a cropper for fiber, and so on and so forth. I want to set those up first. And then once I have a good influx of resources coming in, then I can set up and I can start crafting axes and swords and shields and things like that. And that's where my blacksmiths, my fletchers, my imbuers, tinkers come into play. And what they added a couple patches ago was fishing, and now I can hire fishermen as well, and I can feed those. Hey Boom, what's up? So now let's go and let's talk about our laborers, okay? Because this is the whole reason to have our house, is to set up laborers. Now, of course, this is what a T8 house looks like from the outside. Nice little shiny T8 house. And this is the way I like to set all of my houses up. So when I walk in, I have all of my trophies to the left. I have 3 beds, 1 bed for each laborer, and I have 1 table kind of into the middle. Now I like it this way because I can just walk straight in through the door, walk straight into my laborers, get my resources, give them the books, and get out. Okay? Now if you look, furniture. I can have 14 pieces of furniture in my house. Okay? And also I can have 3 laborers. So if I only want to set up 1 laborer, I can set up 1. If I want to set up 2, 2, and 3, and 3. 14 pieces of furniture. That's everything. It counts everything. So I want to have as many trophies in here as possible. Why? Because I want my laborers to be happy, and that's what this is. So when I click on my labor, it's going to show what the resources are that they brought back. It's going to show the journals that I can buy, and of course, the higher my house, the higher my labor, the more journals I can buy, all the way from a tier 2 to a tier 8. Alright? And the last one is manage. Now I can give people access rights to my laborers. I can give them up, I can dismiss them, you know, if I'm not gathering fiber anymore, if I'm not gathering stone anymore, and let's say I move on to wood or whatever, I can dismiss this labor and set up a different labor altogether. If I have a bed for each labor, I'm going to get 400 of 400. If I don't, they're not going to be as happy, so it's going to be like 200 or 300 of 400. Same thing with my table. They've got to have a table where you know, they can supposedly eat, sit down, relax, sort of thing. And I want that of 400 or 400 as well. Now the last thing is the trophies. And you cannot, at this point in the game, make your laborers 100 of 100 using trophies. 85 of 100 is the max you can get. Alright? And what that does is it gives you, so I'm going to go ahead and take these resources from all my laborers. I'm just going to go ahead and take all these. I'm going to be overweight a little bit. And if I wanted to give them a tier 4 journal, you see the yield, it's at 150%. So I'm going to get 150% of what this book can bring back. And then it shows you the possible returns. Doesn't mean that it's guaranteed, it's just a possibility. And just like with your farms and with your animals, it comes back in 22 hours. Okay? So in less than a day, this labor is going to come back with T4 materials. Alright, let's say I don't want T4. Say I clicked on the wrong book. I can either step away from that labor and it disappears, or I can decline it and it disappears, and I can go and pick a different journal. Okay, and the same 150% shows you my returns 22 hours. It does not matter the level of book that you throw in there. Alright, the only time that it's ever going to be a difference is if I want to set up, or if I want to give them, and I'm a little slow here, let's get rid of this, if I want to give them a T8 book, okay, if I want T8 resources back, let's just throw that in there. Let's grab a T8 book, and I'll show you the difference here. And this is why it's not, you can't get 100 of 100 on the journals. It's only going to give me 42.5. Okay, we want this number as high as possible because T8s are very expensive, and especially if we get the chance to get an 8.3, that's money, that's gold right there. We want every possibility of getting an 8.3 that we can possibly get. So 142.5 is the highest number that you can get on those. So let's just go ahead and accept, and she's going to go out and she's going to gather fiber. She's going to disappear. Let's go ahead and throw these other ladies out so they can start collecting fiber. Now let's look at a different labor. Okay, so if I'm a crafter, so to speak, I can set up blacksmithing, I can set up imbuers, tinkers. Let's grab a couple of these, we don't want all those. It's kind of stupid. Okay, we're going to grab those and we're going to go up here. Once again, same layout. The only difference is here I've got a spyglass, which you can get. They're pretty expensive. They're pretty rare. There's not a lot of people that sell them anymore. Just an explorer spyglass. So if you can find those cheap on the market, grab those up. If not, go ahead and get the shark trophy. The shark trophy is a little bit more cheaper. Here I've got 3 imbuers. Now the thing about when you're crafting and using crafting books, these guys will bring back refined resources. Okay, so there is a difference. So when I click on him, once again it shows me the work, shows me all the journals that I can buy from T4 or from T2 all the way to T8, and I can manage him. Now these guys are a little lower, and I could probably get these a little higher if I would take the spyglass out and put the shark in here. Just haven't done it yet. But you can see that he brings back refined resources, and he brings back an empty book, so I can go back and I can craft more stuff and keep using the book over and over and over. Now you do get a slight possibility of them not bringing a book back, and it does happen every now and then, but it's not very common. It's kind of rare. And if I don't gather these guys up, if I don't come in and collect this stuff within a week, I will lose everything. It basically starts over. So I want to, if I'm going to do this, I want to make sure that I'm doing it every day. Okay, it's an everyday thing. So I'm going to go ahead and accept. See, he can bring back possible returns of all this stuff from T1 all the way to, and it kind of goes down all the way from T1 from flat to T1, T2, and T3, and 150% yield. or I can decline that and let's throw him a T8 book, and I'm going to get 122.5. So it's a little bit lower on the crafting side, but like I said, you've got to take into consideration that you're getting refined resources back that you can then take and do crafting with again. It's kind of nice. 8.1 logs. Let's throw them some T7 here. And pretty unlucky today. Most of it's flat. Now let's talk a little bit more about the trophies. Okay, so there's multiple different trophies. There's what there's called a generalist trophy. Okay, and that's these guys. It's kind of like a little book on a pedestal, and they've got from tier 2 to tier 8. Okay, and I'm going to use those with my tinkers, my imbuers, my blacksmiths, all from tier 2 to tier 8. But since this guy is a cropper, I want to use cropper trophies. Alright, and the way that I get those is there's a special journals that I want to fill. And the developers were kind of tricky when they done these, because the cropper journals for the trophy look just like the regular cropper journals. So you've got to be careful, pay attention to what you're buying. The only difference is it will say trophy in the description. That's it. Okay, so if you notice, the picture looks exactly the same. My numbers, the weight, everything is exactly the same on both these. The only difference is in my title. Alright, so I'm going to buy a trophy book, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to collect fiber, and as I collect fiber, that book fills up. I give it to my worker, and she comes back with not materials, but a trophy that I can place down inside my house. And those will range all the way from tier 2, tier 3, all the way to tier 8. Okay, and these, the tier 8, can get pretty expensive, so I would recommend going out, if you can, filling up those journals yourself, and getting that trophy yourself. Now the kicker is, if I wanted to fill up a cropper's journal and a trophy journal, I can fill those up at the exact same time. Okay, the exact same time. And what those are going to look like are these little guys right here. Okay, that's what they're going to look like in your inventory, all the way from tier 2. They're little potted plants, all the way up to tier 8. The rock has it, the wood has it, your ore has it, so every biome has specific trophies geared towards those laborers. Alright, now let's say that I'm a gatherer and I like to just collect stuff. Okay, if I want to collect stuff, I want to set up a house with nothing but chests inside. I can do that. I only like to do this once because it takes away from the chance to get materials from your from your journals. But I can go through and I can set up chests in whatever particular order that I want, and I can throw stuff in them. Okay, whether if it's animals or trophies or food, whatever, I can throw whatever I want in there. Okay, and it's just one house. I like to have it so when I come in the door, it's just right there. It's easy, it's accessible. I'm in and out of my island on to doing other stuff that I want to do. Now, every now and then, SBI likes to throw in special chests that you can get if you refer friends or whatnot. Now you can refer your friends and get those for free, or you can do like what I've done, and you can go on the auction house and you can buy them. And there's a bunch of different ones. So this one's different. This one's different. The little cube boxes are different. We've got a recruiter's chest, and there's a Morgana chest that's like this, only it is brown. and I can put the exact same stuff. It's just a chest where I can throw stuff into, and they hold 25,000 kilograms, just like a typical chest does. Okay. Now they did an Easter thing last year where they had an Easter chest, and it only holds 60. But these are pretty expensive now. So if you've got one of these, congratulations. If not, you can find them on the open market. They go for like 4 mil, so they're relatively expensive as well. The only other chest that I can think of would be, see if I can find them here, are these guys. It's called a present box. And let's just take one. I'll show you what they look like. Let's just take all of them, forget it. I can place these little guys down anywhere on my island in the open world. And if it's green, I can place it. If it's red, I cannot. Okay? So if it's green, I'm just going to go place it down. Click on it. And it holds 60 kilograms as well. So like I said, I can throw these anywhere in the open world. City plots, territories, just random in the biome, and they're going to be there. The only downfall to that is if someone comes in with a hammer, they can destroy it if it's not in a city plot or if it's not on your island. Okay, anywhere else they can destroy it. Now let's say I placed one and like, oh man, I didn't want to place it there. Like, I need to pick it up. As long as it's empty, and as long as I'm dismounted off my ride, I can go up here and I can pick it up. And it goes right back into my inventory. Okay? Now, just like with my chests, I can give other people access to this chest. Okay? And that's going to be in the access right. So I'm going to click it, click private, go to custom, and I can customize who can co-own it, who can use it. Maybe I just want someone that's a supplier, and that's a person that can only put stuff in, they cannot take stuff out. And let's say I want to give guild access, but there's this guy that's a real jerk, like I don't like him. Okay, I can put his name in here. Boom, he does not have access to this chest. Okay, and I can do that with any of the chests. Okay, that is kind of islands in a nutshell. Like I said, depending on what tier island you have, and they go over here quite a ways. You know, I can set up multiple houses. All of my houses, like I said, have the exact same layout. Every single one is exactly the same, and I like it that way because I know where everything's going to be at. I don't have to guess. I can go straight into a house. Boom, I know I've got 3 beds, I've got a table, I've got my trophies, and my laborers are straight inside. Go straight in, come straight out, and I'm done. Is there any questions on islands, farms, how to set anything up? Yeah, 720. It's probably the way I've got my settings set up. Only other thing I can think of is how to give people access to your island. It's this little guy right here. I can click on this paper, and I can give, I can make someone a co-owner. You know, I can make people so that they're builders. Crafting stations on my island, not at this time. Now I think they've done changes to where if you have a guild island if you use focus, and if you use focus only, you can get a certain percentage back. But as far as making crafting stations and refining stations on your island, no, there's really no point. Other than if the taxes are outrageous, but at that point, you're going to get so much more back in resources that it should make up for those taxes. The process of raising mounts. Let's see if I've got one. I think I got rid of all my mounts. Nope, there's some horses. Okay, so let's say I raise some horses, right? So I raise some T4 horses, and I want to make it so that I can ride this horse, because right now I cannot ride this horse. Okay? It's just a regular adapt horse. So there's two different ways that I can go with this horse. Actually, there's only one way with a T4. I can only make it a rideable horse. If it's a T5, 6, 7, or 8, I can make it a riding horse, or I can make it an armored horse. And there is a difference. A riding horse, if I'm gathering, or if I'm collecting items, it will put me overweight. So once I get to 100%, I can go over, okay? And if I get dismounted, then I'm going to be slowed and I'm dead for sure. But an armored horse will tell me right here. So once I get to 100%, that's going to tell me, hey, you're going to get overloaded. My mount's actually going to get slower. And it was kind of like what my Panther was doing a while ago. So let's throw on an armored horse here. Okay, let's just go with a T5 armored horse. See, I'm jumped up to 118%, so my horse is going to run. See, he's running just a little bit slower. Let's say I'm out gathering, and I've gathered a whole bunch, and now I'm red. And I'm moving really slow. I'm going to move this slow in the open world on this horse because I'm overweight, because of all the extra armor, okay? And I'm at 266%. Now let's get rid of this, and let's go to a regular T5 horse. Okay? It drops down. See, now I'm at 159 because I don't have all the armor on the horse. The horse trots a little bit faster. So depending on the mount that you have and the way that I'm crafting my horses, it does make a difference. I like the armored horses because I'm a gatherer. If you want to get from one place to another, the regular horses are a little cheaper, and that's kind of the difference between them. So let's dump this stuff off, and I'll go through that later. Let's go get us some ore and some cloth, and let's make this into a horse we can ride. So it's a T4 horse. We have to have T4 materials, okay? Let's get a little bit of fiber here. And a little bit of ore. And we're going to go to a crafting station in Carleon or Martlock or wherever we can find a stable. A stable is what we're looking for. So when we got to the main screen, once again, we're going to hit N just like we would at our island. And it's going to bring up all the spots or all the places in that biome that I can refine and craft my stuff. Now with each one, there's individual people that own each one. So I'm going to have different user fees. And you see this guy, he's trying to gouge people. User fee of 150%. Yeah, screw that. I'm not going there. This guy, 46%. That's not too bad. 46%. 46%. So it looks like 46 is about the cheapest for this one. So I'm going to go back here to this guy. Okay. Hit N again. And there's so many people in Carleon right now that it's overpopulated. There's such an influx in the player base. It's fantastic. Now I can move as I'm hitting in, and it's going to show my little guy on the screen here as I'm going if I'm getting myself lost. Okay. And this little guy right here is my stable. Alright, so I'm going to dismount. I'm gonna click on him,
Welcome.
and it's got my. Oh, I grabbed the wrong stuff, didn't I? I wanted leather. But I can click on it, and if I brought my leather, I screwed up. I could craft this horse into a rideable horse. Okay, and what's weird is he's a white horse, but for some reason when you put a saddle on him, it makes him brown. I always thought that was kind of weird. And then I can ride him.
Thank you for
Okay.
coming.
One other
You are the
thing,
kingdom. I have
when
a
I'm
horse.
using focus, or when I'm not using focus, see the resource return rate? Now this won't have anything to do with the mount, but the leather, or the fiber, the cloth, the ore that I'm using, I'm gonna get 15% of that back. If I use focus, now it jumps up to 44%. So anytime that I can craft my stuff or refine my items with focus, and you get, if you have premium, you get 10,000 focus a day. Okay, save that up if you want. You can only get a max of 30,000. So once you're at like 28,000, use some of it. Okay, because once you hit 30,000, you don't get any more. Alright, and it slowly builds. So like every so many minutes, you're going to get focus points to craft. And you can see mine's kind of went up. I've got 11,488, and if I wait a few minutes, I'm going to get 11,400 and something else. Okay, but if I'm at 30,000, I don't get any more. So I'm wasting my premium. I'm wasting my points. So when I get to like 26,000, 28,000, I want to go craft something. I want to go refine something. I want to go make something to use those focus points. Okay?
We will fight.
Otherwise, I'm wasting a ton of material to where I could craft multiple horses or mounts or whatever with those resources. Right, you don't get any more until you use it. So once I hit 30,000 focus points, I don't get any more. So if I go on vacation for a week and I come back and I'm like, man, I'm getting 10,000 every day, and I've been gone for 7 days, I should have 170,000. No, 30,000 is the cap. Yep, you just throw it away. And that's the same for all these refining stations.
I sense chemistry here.
Everything. So if I wanted to craft a potion, you know, I go from 15 to 44%, and it's different. It's different if I refine in Carleon. It's different if I refine in Fort Sterling. It's different if I refine in the Black Zone. Each place is different for a reason. Some give me more of a buff, some give me less of a buff in getting resources back. So I really want to pay attention to what biome and what I'm gathering, and where I move my resources to and from, and where I'm crafting my craft at. Because if I'm doing it just to make money, I want to be as proficient as possible and get as many resources back to craft that item over and over and over again and again and again. Now there's two ways that I can access my island. I can either go to this little guy right here and click on him, okay,
Looking for safe passage?
and I can access all the islands that I have access to.
I
Or I
wait a
can go
little
to the
longer.
island maker, and that's this little guy with the little pirate hat over here. He's the little island merchant, island maker, and I can visit my island. Or I can visit my guild island, or the last tab is I can visit any other island that all of my friends have given me access to. Okay, it's kind of nice sometimes, but if you have acquired friends and like they quit playing the game like I have, and they don't take you off the island, you have access to their island forever and ever, and sometimes it's annoying, sometimes it's not.
Enjoy.
And I'm gonna go back to my island. Oh, one more thing.
Ready to leave?
With the patch
Hold
that they
tight.
just did, okay? Let's say that I built my island in Carleon and I want to move it. I don't like Carleone anymore. I want to go to, say, Fort Sterling.
Your money
You get a
offshore.
one-time move, one time, for free, right here. Click move, and everything on your island, the way that it's set up, all of your chests, all of your resources, everything will get moved to where you want to move it to, okay? But it's a one-time thing. After that, you have to move everything off your island. You have to destroy all your buildings to get your resources back to do that. Otherwise, if I click abandon, I lose everything on my island. So don't click abandon, unless your island is actually abandoned. Otherwise, you lose all of your materials and everything that's there. Okay.
How can somebody be
The other place that I can throw stuff is the bank, and every town has a bank. Okay. And it's kind of like SBI's like, hey, if you don't want to build an island, if you don't want to mess with all that crap, we're going to give you a little space where you can store stuff. Alright? And man, look at all these people. It's fantastic. I love it. There's a chest here in the middle. You can't see it, but there is a chest here. And I can click on it, and it's called the bank. Just one tab. That's all it is. And I can throw anything that I want in here. And I've got just a few random odds and ends from whenever I was out gathering. I got some books down here. I'm going to go ahead and grab these from whenever I was crafting some axes a few weeks ago. Let's go ahead and grab all this stuff and take it back with us. The thing about this one is, compared to the other chests, is it's bigger. Okay, I can put 100,000 kilograms in it, not 25. All right, so I can store a lot of stuff. The only other chest that is bigger is if I have a guild island. If my guild is nice and they have set up a tab for me. Let's go to a guild island.
Your coins and my skills, we can make anything happen.
Let's go to a guild island here.
Sure.
If I have access to a guild island, there is a chest, and this is the chest that we were in a while ago. The very front one, just like the bank, has 100,000 kilograms that I can use. But I can set up multiple tabs. And in every one of these tabs, click on it, I can now put 1 million kilograms, which is a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. And I've come to the conclusion, unless you have all T8 stuff, you will never fill this up. Like, you will run out of space. And it goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Like, there's multiple places, multiple slots in here that you can put items. But you will never get 1 million kilograms unless you have all T8 stuff. And just to give you a look, like in this one, I've got 709,000 kilograms of 1 million, and it's full. Like, it's completely full. So unless you have all T8, you will never fill this chest up completely. Okay? Now, what happens if I have stuff? That's a good question, Koosh. What happens if I have stuff in this chest on my guild island, and let's say that, like, my guild leader wants to be a douchebag, right? We get into an argument, we just disagree, we don't like each other, and he kicks me from the guild. What happens to my stuff? It's in this chest. The only way to ever get it back is to get back in the guild and to get access to this chest. Otherwise, you lose it. It's gone. I mean, it's not gone from the game. Like, they can't and they won't destroy it because there's no way for anybody to have access to it, but you don't have access to it as well. Okay? So I caution you on putting things in a guild bank or on a guild island for storage. Now, it's great if I'm coming and going and I have just a few things. I've got a couple different sets that I want to throw in there. But to actually throw all of your items in there, I would caution you to throw all of your items in there. I would not do that. Yeah, there's a lot of fiber. A guild island, basically the same, you know, a little bit different layout. I'm gonna have a guild hall in the middle, and all of you guys that are part of the Bridge Lock or Sun guild, or whatever guild that you have, you're gonna come right up the middle. Your guild hall is gonna be right here, and however they have it set up. I have this one set up for tinkers, and you can kind of see that they're back, so I need to get busy and come in here and collect the stuff that they brought back to me. But it's basically like a big house. It's a big hall where I can put whatever I want to put in here. Okay, it's the same thing as a house on an island. Can set it up any way I want. I've got more chests that I've thrown down. These are the chests that you can throw down anywhere. And the rest is just houses. And your guild can set it up however they want. If they want to put refining stations, if they want to put crafting stations, they can. But that's up to your guild leader, and you have to have access to do that. Same thing with your island as with the guild island. There's a little sheet here where you can set up co-owners. You can set up who has access to it, who doesn't have access to it, who can do what. But like I said, use caution on using this center chest. I would use the bank first, then set your island up, and then put stuff on the guild island in that order. Okay. Any other questions on farming, islands, anything of that nature? I know it's a lot of information to take in. My recommendation is to start slow. Start very slow. I would only do what I can afford to do. Maybe set up one house. Maybe set up one farm. Once I've got my laborers underway and I'm bringing in books on a regular basis to feed them. Once I've got a little bit of a carrot stash or a bean stash or whatever, then I can go in and I can upgrade my island, and then I can, you know, move on from there, move up to tier 2 or tier 3 or whatever. The only thing else that I really want to touch base on is the layout. Okay, what's on my screen, and depending on if you're on a PC or if you're on a tablet, it's going to look just a little bit different in the way that it's set up. Okay, there's a question here. What's needed for making a house or making a farm? It will tell you. Like a farm, it takes like tier 2 or tier 1 wood, so that's like this. So I can go in and I can get this log. This is a tier 1 log. Let me find a tier 1 stone. Here's a little tier 1 stone here. I can collect this. Okay, and it's like 15 of each. It's not a lot. So I'm gonna go in and I can click H to build it. Go to my farm. Click on farm to build, and you can see it's red. Everything's red because I don't have any free space. If it turns green, then I can build there. And like I said, I think it's like 10 wood or 15 wood and like 5 or 6 stone. It's cheap for a farm, so that's why I say to do farms first. Now, if I want to build an animal pen, that's where it gets a little bit more expensive. You've got to start doing some refining. You have to have T2 blocks, not T2 stone, T2 blocks. So it's a little bit more expensive. And then if you want to build an animal cage for your dire wolves, that's different material too. So definitely start with a farm, because everything you need to build your farm is on your island. All your tier 1 trees, all your tier 1 rock is on your island. It takes literally like 30 seconds, and I have enough material to build a farm. So I can either hit A or I can click it down here in the bottom. Okay, that's the same thing for all of my spells. I can either, whatever that it's queued to, hit Q, W, or I can actually click on the screen to do what I want to do. So there's multiple different ways that I can use my spells to mount, to do whatever I want to do. In the top left-hand corner, it has my name, has my little avatar, has my hit points, my mana. If I click on it, it's going to open it up, and it's going to show my stats, my avatar, my faction info, my build. So let's start with my stats. Okay, I click in here, it's got all my fame, what guild I'm associated with, where I've got or where I've received all my fame, basically what I've done in the game. It's all right here. Okay. Who I've killed, who's killed me, and I can click on it, and it shows what they had, what I had on the time, and how much fame, that they got off of me. My achievements. This is something that they launched after launch. It was like 2 or 3 updates down the road. So it is basically like just little fun things that you can work towards. You don't really get anything for it. It's just, hey, I've did this in the game type thing. And then of course I can click on the kill board, and it's going to open. I can open up a kill board. It opens it up in a separate page, and I can look at other players' kill boards as well as my own. Let's go back up here. My avatar. These are things that when you start the game, you're set with a certain amount of avatars, and with the seasons, there's always like a special mount or special avatar that you can get as you go along. And if you complete those quests, then they reward you with new avatars and new portrait borders. And if I click them, as this goes away, come on, get off there. You notice that it changes up in the top left-hand corner, and it's just little fun things that I can click on, kind of change it up a little bit. Faction info. Faction info is something that they released, I think, two updates ago. So every city is a different faction. The only city that's not is Carleon. And what I can do is I can go to that city and I can flag for that city, and basically I'm fighting for that city. Now what this does is the higher the fame I get, the more items, the more cool items that I can buy and that I can make. And each faction has different buffs on like the capes and stuff that I can get. They've also got different mounts that I can get, that I can work my way towards. You know, there's the bear, which is at Fort Sterling. There's the ram, which is at Martlock. The saddled moa bird, which is Bridgewatch. So there's multiple different animals that I can get just for flagging and completing tasks within that city. You also get points for killing mobs for that city, and you also get points for gathering for that city. The kicker is, if you run into someone that is flagged different, okay, they can kill you at any time. It does not matter what zone you're in. If you're in a red zone, a blue zone, a yellow zone, they can kill you and full loot you at any time because you are a different faction. So you've got to watch out for that. And I can either hit H, or I can go to my little guy and I can click build, and it does the same thing. It brings up all the items that I can build. Had a question here. How do you get dire wolves? Well, you have to go out and you have to kill dire wolves, and in the process of killing 10 dire wolves, 100 dire wolves, 10,000 dire wolves, you get the random chance for a baby to drop. And when I get that baby, then I can take it to my cage, and I can raise it. Okay, that's the only way. Now, as I'm raising my baby, I get a certain percentage of a chance, and it's very, very low, that my wolf that I'm raising or my mammoth that I'm raising or whatever will have a baby. Yeah, he was probably killing wolves so he could get babies. Just show you a couple of them real quick here just so you can see what they look like. Wrong chest. Got chests kind of everywhere. So, baby horse that you get, a Moa bird, this is what they look like. So you use your faction points. This costs 3,000 faction points. And then I basically take it to my cage, I raise it, and it turns into an unsaddled or a tamed Moa bird. And then just like the horses, I have to saddle it. So, you know, it's like a multi-tiered process. You can't just get it and accept to ride it. You have to make it rideable. Baby swamp dragon pup will turn into the big swamp dragon, and of course you can get little mammoth calves and raise them into the big mammy. So you can get all of those just by killing the animals. If you see a mammoth, there's T7 and T8 mammoths. You kill it, you get a chance for a mammoth pup. If you kill Old White, which is the big resource boss, he will drop anywhere from 1 to 3 pups. If I kill the lizards that are in a swamp biome, I get a chance for a lizard drop. Dire wolves are in the tree zone or in the tree biome. I kill them, I get a chance for a dire wolf pup. And there is a fowl, which is like kind of like a stag. I think that's what they're called actually, is a stag. Yes. So I can get a giant stag, and you can raise these from pups as well. So that's your 4, 6, and 8. The only other pup that or the one pup that you don't get from killing animals is the saber cat. And he drops pups at the relic boss. So if you find a relic boss in certain dungeons, there is a chance that he will drop a saber cat and or a saber cat pup, and you can raise that pup to get the saber-toothed cat mount. Let's talk about the buttons up here at the top. I've got activities. There's a party finder, so if I want to find a party to go out and fame with, if I want to do arenas, I can gear up and I can go fight in arenas. Arenas are fun because it's a 5v5 thing that I can do. There's no, it does not affect your gear, so your gear is not destroyed. People cannot loot you if you die, so it's kind of fun little thing to do. The Adventurer's Quest, so as I fame, I can get books daily, I can get chests weekly, and you can get a mount and your little icon up here. There's one for those, and this is monthly. So every month they come out with something new to work towards. Just kind of show you some of the stuff they've had in the past. In October there was the spectral bat. In November we had the pest lizard. December was the husky. January was the ram. It's kind of a goofy one. The terror bird, he's kind of cool. He's kind of fast. The bear for gathering. And then of course this month is the panther, which is phenomenal. He is so fast. He's got a little F sprint here, I'll show you. So as he gets up to gallop, get him up to gallop in here, I can hit F, and he goes up into a gallop for like 6 seconds. It's really, really cool. It's really fast. Love the panther. But those are all earned in the Adventures Challenge. The thing with the Adventures Challenge, if I'm in the open world, do not accept any of this stuff. Wait till you get back to your island. Wait till you get back to a safe place. Because if you get ganked and you've accepted this stuff, you can lose it. Okay? When do you get a pup? Is it a one-time use? as you raise your pup, you get a slight chance that that pup will breed. Uh, it's kind of funny because there's no male and female. You just get a random chance that as you raise that dire wolf, or as you raise that mammoth, that he will produce offspring. It's very low, but it does happen, and you can make money off of it. You just have to be careful with how you're doing it. The next one is mail. So if you get mail from the guild or whatnot, or items that you've sold, gold that you've purchased, it's all in here. You can go in and you can click them and delete them. So that's where all your mail's located at. And when you get mail, it will have like a little red or a little blue icon up there just saying, hey, you've got mail. Next one is your character. It's just like a little shortcut, or I can hit I for inventory, and it's got my inventory here. This little thing, this little doohickey here, I can click on it. Shows my average item power, my focus, my learning points. So basically a breakdown of how I'm geared at that particular time. And it will change. As my gear changes, those numbers will change as well. Guild shows the upcoming battles for GVGs that I have. People that's online. All the different tabs within the guild that I have access to. You can go into rankings. See if this was down yesterday. I think it's down today as well. There's just so many people. There we go. Looks like someone's took me off number 9. I'm down to 10th. So you can resource value. You can do it by silver that you've collected. It's just kind of like a little who's who of the world of Albion. You know, who's the top gatherer, who's the top person that's killed the most, who's got the most fame. You can do it by all time, this week, last week. Guilds, it shows what guilds are doing really good at the time. You know, alliances. So that's this little guy right here. Also shows you your season rankings. Season rankings are nice because there's, just like with the Adventures Challenge, and you get certain mounts. If your guild does so well in that month, you can get special mounts and things like that. So like Season 5, Blue Army was the big dog. Their crystal ranking. So all these guys that got crystal ranking got special mounts. Got a crystal rhino or something like that. I forget what it was. If your guild got in gold, you got a gold animal. Silver got a silver animal, and so on and so forth. So the better that you do, the better that your guild does, the more that you work as a team, and the more points that you get, the higher the rankings you go up. So you get a more valuable mount at the end of the season. Friends shows all your friends that are online, if you have some. Next one is the gold market. Here you can buy gold, you can sell gold, you can sell silver to buy gold, and it shows you how good or how bad the market is fluctuating, what gold is selling for, what gold is buying for. So if you're a person that likes the stock market, that's for you. Premium, if you have premium, it shows you how many days you have left. Like I have 102 days, that's what the D is for. So it shows you how many days of premium you have left. This will fluctuate depending on how good or how bad the market's doing. So if the market's doing really good and gold is worth a lot, it's going to cost you more to buy premium in game. Okay. The same thing if gold market is down and there's not a lot of silver that's circulating, of course the price is going to go down. Alright. And then this just kind of gives you a breakdown of all the bonuses that you get with premium. And it's fantastic. Like you get learning points that you can use per day. This is where all your crafting focus comes in. You get 50% bonus for fame. So if I kill a mob with premium and I get 100 points, somebody that kills the exact same mob without premium is only going to get 50 points. So it's a huge advantage to have premium. Plus all this stuff down to the bottom, you get 50% more silver, 50% more gathering, 100% more crop yield, 100% more animal growth rate. So your stuff's going to grow faster, you're going to get more. It is possible to have a level 5 farm, grow carrots, or grow your animals and pay for your premium. You don't have to buy gold if you're active. If you just wanted to come in and spend 5 minutes in the game, do your farms, it will pay for premium, okay? You have to do it every day, but it is possible. And you can be very, very successful in having a nice gold or a nice silver return on a daily basis. And the last one is brand new, the Albion store. They're gonna have different like little special offers, and right now the free to play, the special offer is, for $10 you get fishing gear and 100 gold and 30 days for premium. That's pretty good. Or you can just buy gold if you want, or you can just buy premium. Now you see 30 days of premium is $9.95, or I can go in here and I can get 30 days of premium with 100 gold with fishing gear. So it's kind of like a little incentive, like saying, hey, here's some gold, here's some fishing gear, go out and try fishing. And I can see them doing this with different gathering sets, having different rewards for the month and things like that. So that's all in here. That gives you a breakdown in the Albion store. Shortcut settings. This is where all your game settings, if you get rewards in the game, which you can get rewards from time to time, click on here and you can claim all different types of rewards that you get. Once again, same thing with those. Make sure you're at a safe spot, because once you claim them and you get killed, you will lose those. You can invite friends from here, you can log out, and when you close the application, it basically just closes. If you're in the black zone or the red zone or the yellow zone where you're killable, don't just click close application, because your character stays where it's at for 60 seconds, okay, in the open world. So in 60 seconds, you could die. Full loot, if it's the black zone or the red zone, and you can log back in and be like, I'm ported into Carleon or somewhere, now I'm naked, I've lost everything. So you always want to log out. When you log out, it has a little timer. If it's somewhere safe, you've got 10 seconds. And once I move, the timer goes away. Okay, so if I accidentally click that and I don't want to log out, just move your little character, move your little guy around, and it will disappear. Now if I'm in the black zone or somewhere else, it's a full 60 seconds. So I can do that. Just make sure that you're in a safe place to where you're not going to get ganked. The next option is my Destiny board. Now this is where a lot of confusion takes place. Let me see. I can either click that, or I can click. Which one is it? There's a certain key that's binded to it as well, and I can click that. I always just click the little icon. Everything on the right side is what I have crafted. So if I want to be a crafter, this is the side of the board that you're going to look at. Okay? If I want to do fame farms and I want to do GVGs and ZVZs and I want to see what gear I can use, it's going to be on the left side of the board. Okay? Down the middle, everything on the right is crafting and gathering. Everything on the left is what gear I am optimized to use. Alright, so let's go into something that I can't use. So right now I can't use an arcane staff. Okay, no tier. Can't use an arcane staff. I have to come down and I have to get a T3 arcane staff. I have to go out into the world, kill mobs, kill items, to level that up to where I can use the arcane staff. Now if I wanted to go out and do healing, I have leveled that to 100, so I can use any tier of the healing staffs. Okay. Now, if you notice, it branches off, and this is what spec is called. And the higher I spec, or the more I use this item, the more powerful I'm going to become with this item. Alright, so if I want to be a really, really awesome healer, I want to try to get all of these to 100. Okay? 100. And as you can see, I can either use learning points. So I can use learning points, and that's these little guys right here. Learning points. Or I can use respec points. So once I've got this to 100, and I'm still killing mobs, I'm still killing things in the open world, I'm going to get respec points that I can use and I can throw in somewhere. To do that, I click here, and it's going to show me, okay, I can do this. It's going to cost me 79,000, and I've got 100,000. If I wanted to go from 62 to 63, I just click confirm, and it does it. Alright, and I can do that for all 4 of my tiers. Now, I want to do these 3 first because they're non-artifact. They're easier. You can see, let's go down to this one. To level this one, it only takes 103. If I want to do a relic, okay, 225,000. So it takes almost double the time to get my relic. Now, all of these will count towards each other. So let's say I want to do relic, but I don't want to spec it first. I get a passive bonus of 0.2 to all power of all holy staffs, and I get a +2 specialization bonus to all power for holy staffs. So every time I level this one up, it's going to reflect how powerful my relic is as well. Okay? So level all 4 of those up, you know, at the same time. Or I tell people to level the 3 up and then work on your relic. It's a lot easier. Any questions on that? Oh, one more thing about when I'm farming, when I have my farms, okay, as I farm and as I'm leveling my carrots and stuff up, it's going to open up beans, you know, cabbage, so I can farm other crops. Same thing with my animals. As I'm leveling up, as I'm using my pigs and my sheep, I haven't unlocked the cows yet, so that's something I've got to work towards, and it will show me. You know, once I'm up here, to get this, I've got to get to 100, and right now I'm only at 64. Do legendaries have other bonuses? Your relics typically are more powerful, yes, but they also cost a lot more in the open market. So like a relic healing staff compared to just a regular staff is going to cost me 2 to 3 times the silver. So if I don't have the silver, if I don't have that residual income coming in, I'm just going to go with just a regular old plain staff, you know, for the time being. Typically, yes, the legendary will, your relics will do more damage. And that's why they're relics. And there's a whole thing, and we can talk about relics in another stream. But there's a whole process that you have to go through. You can't just craft a relic item. You have to find the item that's broken down and use it with special materials and whatnot to actually be able to make that relic piece. Any other questions on islands, farming, mounts, anything of that nature? I know it's a lot to take in. Like I said, take it slow. Start out with a level 1 island. Start out with 1 house. Start out with 1 farm. slowly build your base, get some carrots coming in, sell them, get some silver flowing, for you new people that are out there. Just take it slow. If you have any questions, you can always PM me on Discord, PM me in the game. I'll help you as much as I can. If there's another stream that we need to do at a certain point in time, we can do another stream. We can go into more detail if there's something specific that you're looking for. But other than that, that is the breakdown basically on how to build your islands, what labors are for, how to upgrade everything. Any other questions at this time? I appreciate you guys showing up. If you haven't hit the like button or the subscribe button, go ahead and like and subscribe. I don't do a whole lot of streams like I used to, but I will be getting back into a little bit more streaming, especially since it's went free to play, and there's so many new people that has questions out there. I like to be the one that kind of answers those to get those beginners to the end game content. Because that helps the game grow, and I want the game to grow. Right now, I still think the game is in its infancy stage. There's so many different ways, there's so many different avenues that the game can take that it is endless. Okay. So appreciate it. You guys have a good weekend, have a good day, and we will see you next time.